to our last Creative HE and ICC meetup of the year. It's May already. I can't believe it. Where did that academic year actually go? My name is Christine Ranzi. I'm part of Creative HE, and I'm also the lead of the new center, the Imaginative Curriculum Center at the University of Leeds in the School of Education. And I'm delighted that you're all here with us today for this final session. What's going to happen is you can already see our guest here, and we are going to introduce Dr. Stamatis Papadakis in a tiny bit. But as I said, this is the last meetup of the year. We are putting together the program for the next year. So if you are interested to present and share your work, it may be work in progress, any ideas, any experimentations, anything that you would like to share, would value the feedback from others and a conversation around your work. Please get in touch with us so that we can integrate you into the program and give you that opportunity. But after May, we do have our traditional but unconventional, if you like, event, which we have been organizing for some years now, and that is a summer jam. This year co-organized by Dr. Anna Hunter and Dr. Ben Chong. And Ben is actually with us. I don't know if Anna is, but Ben is with us. So while I will hand over briefly to Ben to explain what this is about and how you could participate if you wish and share your work there as well, I will find the link and share that in the chat, and then we are going to start. Ben, over to you briefly.
Oh,
Thank you.
I just found the link anyway.
Did you? Oh, you're super fast. Great.
Yeah. So the event, just to tell you the day, the event will be on the 25th June, 2 to 4. I think 2 to 4. Yeah, I think 2 to 4. Yes, 2 to 4. So it's a 2-hour event. So let me just tell a little bit about the event. So it's actually inspired by Nathalie Rogers' work on creative connections. So what she proposes expressive and creative art as a healing and transformative process or power. So we use this as a theme for this particular creative jam, and so we invite everybody from this community to share some 5-minute ideas, or it doesn't have to be fully formed ideas. It could be something that you would, you have something that you have in mind, but you do not know how to develop it. So you can actually bring in during that event, in 5 minutes, you can let us know what your thoughts, what your experience, or it could be something that you have done. So you can, so if something that you have achieved that you wanted to share with us, or an idea that you have not tried out, share with us. Or if you would like some kind of feedback, so you can also share with us. And then hopefully by in the second hour, I think in the first hour we'll be doing that. Then in the second hour, that we will have some kind of ongoing, some kind of discussions, and then so we will keep it quite open-ended, and then so of course Anna and I, we will monitor that, and we will coordinate the discussions. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, and thank you for making the time and all the effort that goes into preparing for this. So if you are interested, or if you are listening and not currently in this session here and are interested, please get in touch with Ben or Anna, or both of them as you wish. So we are very much looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Ben. The registration is also open, so if you would just like to participate, click on the link, and you will be able to register and get a calendar invite automatically. Thank you so much, Ben. Okay, I think we are ready for Dr. Stamatis Papadakis. And what I would like to say is how I met Stamatis, because we are obviously both Greeks, but I have been out of Greece for, since 99. So it's 27 years in August, actually. So a very long time. But I met Stamatis through a colleague and a project that I was part of, which I've just shared here. And that was led by Dr. Christina Costa from Durham University, who had reached out to Stamatis, or I think Stamatis showed an interest to support that project through the translation of these 3 open books for that have been co-developed with primary school children in the northeast of England. And through that, because I then got involved in the proofreading and finalizing the Greek text, so we started that collaboration, and since then have stayed in touch. So Dr. Stamatis Papadakis, that was the informal introduction, if you like.
Yes.
Dr. Stamatis Papadakis is an assistant professor at the beautiful, beautiful island of Crete, and I know that Ben has been there in Chania.
Ah, really?
So next time you go, you may actually visit the university as well. So he's an assistant professor there in educational technology and has been working on a number of projects, European projects, and we started discussing how we can work together in the future, which is very exciting. So we are hoping that this will become a reality soon, since we also have joined the EU the UK has now joined Erasmus Plus as well. That creates additional opportunities. He has a vivid interest in the creativity. There's a lot in the space of early years and primary education, Stamatis. Is this correct? Very
Yes.
much about innovations, very much about creating alternative and more engaging ways for learning to stimulate learning and curiosity. And his contribution today will illuminate opportunities of ScratchJr and digital storytelling. We will hand over to you, and the session will be interactive. We had a quick chat early on. There will be opportunities to share ideas. So anytime Stamatis is very open to this, we can interrupt him, maybe through using the raise our hands, so it's a bit less intrusive, and we can participate throughout. Over to you. We are delighted to have you, Stamatis.
Yes. Yes, thank you, Chrissy. Yes, I'm very happy. And of course, thank you very much for inviting me to this event. It's a great opportunity to meet you and to see you also. And met also a lot of colleges from the UK, but around the world as well. Okay, as already Chrissy told, my name is Stamatis Papadakis. I'm an assistant professor of educational technology at the University of Crete at the Department of Preschool Education. So what I'm trying to do is to educate students to become kindergarten teachers, but also I educate students from the brother department of primary education, so as also to become primary educators. And because of my studies are on computer science, I'm working more specifically on computational thinking skills, educational robotics, and in general, how to introduce this, to try to educate my students, to introduce these concepts into preschool and primary education. And why I'm doing this is because the last 3 years in Greece, we have a new curricula, both for preschool and primary education, that promotes computational thinking, coding as one of the 4 pillars of education, together with mathematics, literacy, numeracy, and so on. So for me, it's very important not only to teach my students these concepts, but also to give them the specific tools in order to work for this later on when they come to the Greek kindergartens or primary schools. And I mention that because the situation in the Greek kindergarten schools and primary schools are a bit complicated. What I mean is that although after the pandemic we have enough tablets, computer labs, the situation is a bit fragmented. Some schools are fully occupied, but some others are not so. And what is also important, they have no money to buy software licenses. For instance, there are a lot of software to work with it, but the best software has a lot of money to pay for a yearly admission and so on. So we have to find flexible ways to adapt on the equipment available and the money available. So this is the reason why I'm working with this specific software, which is called ScratchJr, and I'm going to explain you later some of the advantages I found in this software. And before starting the presentation, what we discussed with Chrissy is that although I have prepared the presentation to last an hour, it's better not to follow the classic way, but instead to start my presentation, to tell some things about the main idea, storytelling, digital storytelling, and so on. In the meantime, as Chrissy already mentioned, if you want, please raise your hand and speak. It's much better for me. I hate the behavioral way of speaking. I want something more interactive. And I will try to spend more time on the software itself, and of course to give you some practical ways where to find it, extra educational material, which is very important also for me. And I hope to arrange to do all these things in 45 minutes left. So just to begin with, I'm going to share my presentation first of all. I promise I will not speak so much. So just a moment from the beginning. Are you? No.
We can see in
yes.
edit mode, but that's fine.
Yes, but okay, now you can see it more correctly, I think.
Yes.
Yes, okay. We already introduced ourselves. Okay, so what we are going to do in this session, as already said, my main idea is very simple. Young children now are necessary to use code to make stories move. They can move, they have now a software that can move characters, create events, speech, test ideas, and change what happens. And as already mentioned, I will use some practical examples and connect them with the necessary research and to make my whole idea a bit more clear to you and to give you some ideas. So the main idea, as already mentioned, is that in ScratchJr, the software already mentioned, which can be considered as a young brother of Scratch, the biggest and most famous programming environment, students can make characters act. Also can use pages as a book, and of course they can make stories between these pages. And also anytime a child can test and revise a story. And this is very important, and this is the reason that I already mentioned, because coding is not considered just a technical exercise. This was considered decades ago. Now, what the international research highlights is that for young children, it's necessary that coding can be connected with play, imagination, language, and of course, classroom communication. And to conclude, when a child codes a story, the child is making decisions about meaning and action. And this is much more important for me than the children to develop core coding knowledge and expertise. So, why stories now and code fit together? And this is the reason we are using this specific software. Because stories and code fit together, because they share some basic ideas. For instance, stories have a sequence. Some things happen first, then something else happens. Code also has a sequence. One block comes before another blocks. Stories have actions and events. A character walks, stops, speaks, or meets another character. Exactly the same happens with code. In code, we can create these actions and events very easily, even for a software oriented for young age students. Stories have timing. One character may wait before speaking. Code with ScratchJr also has timing. Stories have cause and effect. If a door is closed, the character knocks. Code also uses cause and effect. Stories can be revised and code can be tested and changes. And especially to move more clearly to the ScratchJr programming environment, ScratchJr can work, as already mentioned, as a story-making space. Children can use character. For instance, you can see here in this screenshot that a children, for example, has already chosen a rabbit. They also can use backgrounds, as we see very quickly in the example. They can connect blocks. For instance, you can see here that a child has already connected some coding blocks in the same way like connecting puzzle pieces very easily. Children can also add very easily speech, sound, and movement. They can also create, as already mentioned, pages and schemes. These features help children turn a story idea into a visible project. This is very important for me, because the important point is not only that children use blocks, command blocks. The important point for me, and this is what I highlight to my students all the time, is that blocks help children represent what they want the character to do. In other words, the story idea should come first, and the blocks should support that idea. Let me give some examples before, as already mentioned, moving to the programming environment. For instance, here you can see a story created by a child. A dog visits a friend. For instance, you can see here some steps of the story already represented like a book page containing 4 pages. Let's see in more details this simple example. A dog wants to visit a friend. The friend lives across the garden, so the dog starts walking. Then the dog you can see can find the river. The child may decide that the dog jumps or swims the river. The child may add another character who helps the dog. The child may also create a bridge. This is a simple story, but it gives meaning to the code. This is what some other experts, meaning that it is very important for children to create based on their own experience, their own authentic experience. And this is also what Mitch Resnick and Marina Berz, the two researchers, both famous, very famous, and also are the people who created this great app, means that had fun. Students have fun while interacting with this app, but at the same time, they learn. So, to continue, the child is not moving only the dog because the teacher asked for movement. The child is moving the dog because the story needs a specific action. In the same way, you can see in the study, in the specific story, you can see that the children has all necessary tools, all very friendly, all this, the whole environment, or more specifics, the human interface is developmentally appropriate. Everything is built based on children cognitive and age development, and you can see that a child has all necessary tools to create a story based exactly on the specific needs and the specific imagination the child has created to represent the specific story. And of course, Here comes another question. What is the role of the teachers in this specific action? First of all, the teacher is not staying pathetic in the whole process. On the contrary, a teacher must all the time ask and interact with the students in questions like, do you want your character to do? And of course, a teacher later can ask what block can help to do what you are thinking. And of course, after that, the child runs the project. Then the teachers ask again, is this what you wanted? Because, and one important action when we introduce coding skills, computational thinking skills to students is the debugging process, which sometimes the debugging process is most important and has it's most cognitive demanding compared to the original coding process. And of course, this sequence seems simple, but it matters because it keeps the child's intention at the center and also helps connect planning, coding, testing, and of course, revision. And at this time, I think I have spoken already too much. And what I'm going to do, I am going to stop sharing my presentation and I'm going to open my browser just to move in more interactive elements. And first of all, I think it's most important for you to see the original website, because maybe of you are not, maybe you have not specific knowledge in this app. So what you can see now in my presentation, it's just my browser, and this is ScratchJr.org. You can see this is the official web page of the app. What is very important here to see is here we can download the app on multiple mobile platforms. You can see that we can download the app on iPhone devices or iPad devices, and of course on our Android devices. This is very important because the app targets almost all users. And this is also very important for the poorest countries, because what we know is that the most poor countries have almost Android devices compared to the other countries that have mostly iPad devices and so on. But what is most important for me is that the app is absolutely free. This is very, very important. You don't have to pay nothing to use the app. So no money for subscriptions, no money for extra licenses. You can download it, install it everywhere just for free. And what is also important for me is that if you visit the Learn tab, if you visit the Teach tab on the official website, you can see here that there is already uploaded teaching material ready to use it. I have already tested everything with my university students, and later on with the in-service teachers, and they find it, although it's in English language, but it's very simplistic, very minimalistic, they find it very easily to use it in almost 5 minutes without preparation with their students. Yes, Chrissy, please.
Sorry, yes, this is all very, very interesting and useful for us. My question, based on what you just said there about this is all in English, and is an opportunity to translate that in some way or to localize or not on the platform? Yes.
Yes, Chrissy. Yes, Chrissy. This is a very good question. So I'm moving in another tab. Here you can see another page. This website comes from the United States, from Boston, especially from the Boston College, from Dr. Marina Bers, the owner of ScratchJr. What Marina has already done with her team, the DevTech Research Group, has already made a full curricula based on this app. The curricula is called Coding as Another Language because they treat coding as they treat the teaching of languages to young age children. And you can see here that they have made a ready-made curricula for kindergarten. I'm going later to put everything on the chat, all the links. You can see that the curricula is organized in various lessons. Each lesson is structured. It begins with warm-up activities, opening text cycle, word time, closing text cycle, and so on. We already use this in my university and also in selected kindergartens in Crete. They found it very, very useful. We have already done tests and we have found very positive results because it's something structured. And of course, to follow Chrissy's question, another important point for me is that we did not base just on the official English curricula, which is very easy for you on the United Kingdom to take and follow it, but researchers, universities from various countries around Europe, we have already took it and adapted on our special settings. For instance, you can see here that my university have taken the whole curricula and adapted to the Greek cultural, ethnic settings. The same have done other researchers in Spain, in Israel, in Turkey, in Portugal, and in Korea as well. This is the most latest addition in this endeavor we try to do. And for instance, just to see if you go for the curricula in Greece, but exactly this in the most of the countries, you can see that we have made the similar word, not only for kindergarten, but I don't know why we cannot see here, just a moment, please. You can see that the curricula is available for pre-K, kindergarten, first grade of primary school, and second grade of primary school. So, Chrissy, this is the first answer on your question. You have a full curricula, free available, based on this app to take it and use it as it is. Of course, you are free to adapt it on your special needs, but also, you also ask something else. What about the app? Yes, the app, the official app, the app you can download from iOS, for iOS device or for Android, comes with many, many languages, included Spain, Portuguese, English, of course, Greek. They support even Greek because the Greeks, we are only 10 million people, and as all the low population countries, the market does not support us, but Scratch Jr. is also translated in many, many, many small languages around the world. So yes, we have an app which is free. We have a curricula based on this app, and this app also is translated in a lot of languages around the world. But also, what is very, very important for me is that the whole code of the app is open source. This means that we can take the app and translate it to Swahili, for example, to translate it in Polish language. It's absolutely free to do everything you want with this app. And to support this idea, I'm going to share something else, which is also very advanced for me. You can see here in this page that some developers did exactly what I mentioned. They took the source code and they did some very clever for me. They thought that some schools do not have tablets, but they have PC labs. So what they did, they took the source code and adapted to run on PCs. And what is important for me, it ran also for Mac devices and of course for Windows devices. So it's also free to download and install it. So, to sum up, we have an app which is free, comes with free curricula, plays almost on every device, and comes with a lot of educational material. And of course, it's developmentally appropriate and also research-based. Then if you search about Scratch Junior, you will find a lot of research done the last decade about the usefulness of this specific app. So for all these reasons, I have introduced this app on my teaching. And personally, if you want my opinion, I have found positive results, both on students' outcomes, but it's also very important for me. I can see that my students, when we start coding activities, they are a bit afraid. When they ask, okay, now we are going to work with computational thinking and coding, they are a bit afraid. But after the semester, they are feeling very confident to go and use it in the classroom. And this is also very important for me. So, Chrissy, I see that your hand is already raised. It's from the previous one?
No, it's fresh. It's fresh.
Okay. Okay, give me another question. Yes.
I'll give you another question. So these downloads that we see here on the page, that means that the application can run offline as well, isn't it? Which makes it also attractive in those countries specifically where bandwidth, etc., you know, and online use is not the norm.
Yes, of course, Chrissy. Yes. This is another very a great advantage of this app.
Yes. Can I ask a follow-up question? Which I think for Zul maybe Zul, because Zul is one of our PhD students. His work is on well, climate education, and maybe he would like to say a few words about this. But I was thinking about you, Zul, and how maybe something like that would be useful for creating a curriculum on climate education.
Of course.
What are your thoughts, Zul? Tell us.
Oh, okay. I think it's mainly on the storytelling part because I have used Scratch before. I just realized there's two versions, ScratchJr and Scratch. I used the Scratch one. So during that class, my students were creating storytelling because basically they have like background and they can move the sprite, the characters. And so I think for the climate change, how can I adapt it is like using it as a storytelling tools for children to create a climate stories, something like that. Yes.
It could potentially also be used for data collection, isn't it, in that capacity?
Yeah.
Huh? That would, I don't know if there are any such examples, but Stamatis, what do you think? Do you know of any examples where it has been used for data collection on research projects?
Yes, actually the app does not collect data on itself because it has no analytics and so on. What we are using on it, we have some extra tests we run as a pre and post test based on the students' engagement with the app and coding activities. And when I'm talking about students, I mean both preschoolers, but also my university students, because for me it's also important to give them the engagement to work with the app.
Yes.
But to follow what your PhD student said, yes, that we have already worked some examples on the university for and students have taken the app and create specific stories about climate change, temperature change. It's very, very easy for them. And then also, when they are going to kindergartens, they give also, they use their project as half-baked. What I mean with that, they have made some preparation and then tell students, express yourselves now how you are feeling the climate change on your village, on your town, how you think your town will change in the next years based on the climate change and so on. And also the students find it very intriguing and very interesting on that.
Thank you so much. I mean, I think that may be useful, Zul, isn't it, for you? So Is it okay for Zul to get in touch with you, Stamatis? I hope the answer is yes.
Of course, of course.
So maybe you can share also the work you are doing, Zul, and connect with colleagues who are doing work in climate education. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. We have David here who would like to ask a question maybe, or has an observation.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks so much. Fantastic presentation. I think it was, as always on these kind of things, your brain goes into sort of overdrive as different bits sort of resonate. And I think what sometimes I struggle to comprehend almost is the switching context. So obviously this is for younger children. I used to teach in secondary school and now teaching looking at research in university. So there's definitely a theme that goes through which is transferable. I guess I'm just trying to make sense of that really. So I think the question for me is related around my experience in secondary school. So not Scratch Junior, but the Scratch main guy. We used to have students arrive with us in secondary school who had used Scratch, but basically the way they've been taught, often due to the expertise of the teacher they had, was basically copy out blocks of code and then produce something that's really amazing, but then have no understanding of the sort of nuts and bolts underneath. So I thought it was really fascinating to use, the storytelling idea, linking into creativity for them to sort of own the thing that they're creating, so that was fantastic. So again, I think this is the bit I'm struggling to comprehend, because they're obviously so little, they're probably not going to know about words like sequencing and algorithms and iteration or anything like that. But what I guess the question is, at what point does it become visible to them, to the learner? At what point do they sort of, I don't know, get a moment that they're learning something, or maybe it doesn't. Does it stay sort of implicit, I guess, at that age group? Does that make sense? I feel like I've bombarded a lot of information there.
First of all, I agree with you, because before moving to academia, I was for almost 23 years as a secondary ICT teacher. So I also work with Scratch, App Inventor, all the block-based programming environments for novice programmers. Yes, your question is very good. And later, in a few minutes, when we move on the Scratch Junior environment, I'm going to see you how a teacher can use the app in a way for students to see the code and the coding process as well, or to hide the coding process. It's very easy, just one button. They have also think about what you mentioned. But before moving to it, as we mentioned, Chrissy, for offline version, we have another great example for those rich schools with good internet connection. We have another alternative. We have this interface, which has been created by a developer from Israel. You can see here that the Scratch Junior has transferred to a web version. So we have a lot of opportunities. We have online version, we have offline version, we have version for Android devices, for Apple devices, for everywhere. Yes, Chrissy.
I mean, it's just fascinating. And I think what we can do is maybe, Stamatis, to add some of these links to the blog post we have, so that colleagues can locate them. And while you were talking, I also had that question: where's the code? Because I can't see any code at the moment. So how are we learning coding without just arranging pictures on a page? So that's lovely. Of course.
Now we are going to learn code. So what I'm going to do, we are moving to the app. So I'm stopped sharing my presentation here, and I have already what I have done. I have downloaded the app on my Windows PC. So I have already opened it, not losing time, and I'm going to open it to you. So now.
So what is the link, Stamatis, to download to a PC? Because I couldn't find the link.
Yes,
for the
PC.
Link
is this one. You see, the link, just to stop sharing it and open it again, the web browser. Hopefully I didn't close it. So the link, but do not worry, because I'm going to share everything.
Yeah, but we may have some colleagues here who want to do it now.
Okay, so yes, so the code, the link to download and the website to download the app, as I have done already to your PC, is this one. Scratch Junior for desktop is called, and this is the link. If you have Mac,
found it. Ben, if you have found it, if you share it with us.
Ben, it's over here.
I mean, Ben is our engineer here, so he's our coder, our expert coder. And it may be that we could actually create something, isn't it, Ben?
Yes. So you mean,
in the future.
Chrissy, so you mean to have the source code of the app, right?
Yes. Well, Ben will do that.
Yes. Yes, everything is available on GitHub. So later on, I'm going to also share the link to GitHub. And yes, you can take it and adapt it on your needs. Yes, of course. Yes.
Great. Ben,
this
is a new project.
Yes. Yeah, maybe can add some extra blocks. It's just based on your knowledge, nothing else. So let's move now to the app. So I'm stopped sharing this one, and I am going to share the app to start coding and playing, of course, because what I'm saying, my student, is that everything is hard coding and fun. So you can see, I'm going to stop my presentation. I'm going to close my presentation, and it doesn't matter. So here you can see the main screen of the app. We press the home button, and just a moment for the app. Okay, yes. What we are seeing here is all the projects that we have already made with our students, alone, and so on. Okay, if you want to see a project, to see the code, or it's very easy. It's just we select a code and we press the button. When I'm meaning we press the button, when we are working on PC, we press the left button of the mouse, otherwise we are moving our hand. So what you can see here is the whole interface of the app. What we can see here on the left, we can see the characters. And we have plenty of characters to use. They are embedding on the app library. But what is also important for me is that students can take a character and customize based on their fantasy or their needs. It's very important. Also, from here, we can take ready-made backgrounds. For instance, this is a nice project we are using about climate change, how the seasons change, for instance. We just have to choose the background we want. But what is also very important for me and for the children as well is that if a child chooses this background and want to add something more, it's very easily, you can see here the paintbrush. If we press the paintbrush, there is an embedded app inside the app, and the child can go here and, for instance, do what the child wants, what thing has it in his mind, and whatever. And of course, by ticking this, you can see that immediately the background changes. Also, what is also very important for me, you can see here an astronaut. The children can make whatever they want. Some animals with an astronaut, it doesn't matter. But if you look more carefully on the astronaut, you can see my face inside the astronaut. This is also very, very important because there is a feature that children can put their face inside the character. And what both my university students, but also the students, have found it very, very nice because they are feeling that they are part of the story.
Yes. That's so important. That's so important. Yes. I mean, I'm doing work on picture books and the windows and the mirrors and windows, you know, is really important. So the mirrors to see themselves actually in the story is so important. And if they are in control and can influence and shape that, I think that will make a big difference.
Exactly, Chrissy. And to follow up with this, we have another great future for me. if we move here on the green button, there is a very nice opportunity for students to record their voice. So if I press this one, you can see that a record window emerges, and I can record my voice as I'm doing right now. So if I record my voice and then press this, you can see that my voice is now like a command. So I can enter my voice into the code. And this is also very important for the students because they have their own face in the story. They have their own voice in the story. So they are feeling that really they are part of the story. And this is make them and change much more compared to traditional practices or other kind of exercises. And to answer a very previous question, how we separate the code,
yes,
if we want to separate for multiple reasons, here you can see this button on the top right, on the top left, sorry. Here you can see that we can use the app as a PowerPoint but interactive presentation without code. And if again I press this button, I can return back to code. So what my students are doing a lot of times in the kindergartens, they give the students a story and then they hide the code, they present just the story and tell the students to try to think what code was used to make, for instance, the dog move 3 steps on the right and 10 on the left, or what blocks used for the astronaut to speak, and so on. This is also very important. It is exactly what the coding literature, as already mentioned as half-baked projects that we try to intrigue students to work with them. But because we don't have enough time, let's try to create a small project from scratch. So if I want to create a small project, I press again the home button and I am again on the very beginning. And if I want to create a new project, I'm just pressing the add button. And what I see here is what the constructivists call as a white canvas, because if I delete this character, and it's very easy to delete, just I have to press my button for 2 seconds on the character, 1, 2, and press the X button, you can see that everything is a white canvas. And this is very important because what Mitch Resnick, the founder of Scratch, mentions in various papers is that a lot of apps who try to learn young children code comes in the form of mazes. You know, you have a robot to move it between obstacles, to jump, to turn, and so on. Resnick supports the idea that if we are using this kind of platforms, maze-like platforms, it's like to try to teach young students to learn and write by using crosswords. What Resnick means, pre-made paths. On the contrary, here you can see that we have just a white canvas as a painter. And so the child has just to use its imagination. This is very important. So let's try to do a story. First of all, I'm going to do the story with a cat or a dog who wants to go somewhere to find a friend. First of all, I have to choose a background. So I press this button here and I see a library of background. For instance, I can make the dog move to the city. I'm going to use this background. So I have a ready background to use. And if I enlarge it, you can see it's nice graphics, developmentally appropriate for young age students. Second, I have to use a character. Again, I will go here, I will press the Add button, and here I can see a library of characters which I can use on my story. For instance, let's find an animal. Where is the animal? I think it's, yeah, okay. This is the dog. I choose the dog. So I have a dog trying to move. I put the dog in the right position I want, and I have now my story, or the very first part of the story. The second is, of course, how to make the dog move, to give life, or in other words, to code the dog. This is very, very easily, because you can see here that all the commands block are here on this side, and they are organized based on the action they do. For instance, here on the yellow team, I have all the event blocks. For instance, when these blocks mean, when I press the green flag, you can see the green flag here, do something. If I don't want this block, it's very easy to erase it. Just I'm moving it on the right side and erase. This block is very, very nice because give us the opportunity to create interactive apps. What this block means, it means that when the child put the hand or the mouse on the character, the character starts to do something. This gives an interactive element on the app. The children are not pathetic just watching something happen, but they take part on the story. And this is also another very nice event. This event means when a character meets another character. So I can make a story that two characters, two animals, for instance, are coming from opposite directions, and then when they meet each other, they start a conversation. And of course, I can combine, multiply events. It's not necessary to stop only on a specific event. But now, for our example, I will use the very, very basic event, which is this one. When I press the green flag, what I want to do, the dog to do when I press the green flag, I want the dog to move some steps on the right to cross the street. So you see, each time I'm taking a command block, it's like I'm connecting puzzles. And this is very pieces of puzzle, and this is very easily for the children. And of course,
can I ask a question?
Yes.
So does this mean now we have 4 of these black blocks, 4 of these blue blocks? Does this mean that the dog will do 4 steps?
Yes, and
where's the code? I want to see the code.
Yes, just see the code. For instance, what the students see when they run the code, first they have to press the green flag. You see, they see 2 things, which is very, very important. Because they see, first of all, the dog walking on the street. But what is also very important for us who try to teach computer science on young students is that we don't treat coding as a black box. I press the button and something magical happens. But please give attention when I am running the code. You can see that the code step by step is running, so the child can watch exactly what is doing on the code has used already. So, because as already mentioned, we don't want the child to see code something magical, but exactly to have the specific idea why the dog is moving. And the dog is moving because you can see that one block is working after another block and after another block. And here, Chrissy, here now comes the connection with mathematics knowledge, not only coding, because after some lessons, the kindergarten teachers introduce students to the specific idea of numeracy. What I mean, they can ask students how many blocks they see here. The kindergarten students can count and say that I can see seven different blocks that they are doing exactly the same action. So the kindergarten teacher can tell the students that instead of using 7 same blocks on a row, we can use just one block, but instead of saying 1, if I press the number 1 here, I can see here a small calculation. So the students can put the number 7, so they can move from concrete number to a more abstract number. This is what on the mathematical education for kindergarten students we are called it realistic mathematics, to move from something more specific to more abstract. So here we have a first connection with coding and mathematical or early numeracy education. And to make a connection also with literacy, we have this very nice button here. You can see ABC in the middle of this, on the center of the screen. If I put it here, I can write what I want. As we are in England.
In any language, can you use
yes,
the Greek
yes.
keyboard, German
instance,
keyboard? Yes.
Yes. You can see Chrissy and the other participants. Now I write the name
Skilos.
Dog, yes, in the Greek language. But to be more easily for you, a dog, sorry. Yes, we can use every language we want. And this is very important. And of course, we can play here. We can choose the size. We can choose the color so as to be playful. So look, in this very, very small example, we tried to create a connection between coding skills and especially the sequence to put one command block after another. We did a connection with early numeracy, and we did a connection with early literacy. And this is exactly the way I'm calling my students to use this kind of app. Not only focus on coding skills, but on the contrary, to use this app as an app to introduce students in a playful way, but also meaningful way, to multiply concepts like mathematics, coding, numeracy, and of course, in other various projects like science education project, history projects, and so on. And what else? Because I don't, just inform me if we have more time or...
Yes, some colleagues, this is very useful, and I think we could go on for another hour and also try it ourselves. I think some of us will go away and try it. Because some of our colleagues have left already, I suspect people are busy. So if we just have maybe a few minutes for any final questions, that may be useful. But thank you so much. That was really insightful. And thank you for demonstrating it as well. I think it generated a lot of interest, a lot of questions. And I think there are quite a few of us who will go away and do something with it. But we have Andrea had the question. No,
Andrea,
Oh,
you
sorry.
are.
I just wanted to do a thumbs up.
Yes.
And
okay.
Andrea, you are on the United Kingdom or in another country?
I'm in United Kingdom, but I'm Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So it's available in Spanish as well, and also the whole curricula is available on Spanish language.
Thank you. Great. Are there any final questions or observations from anybody? Maybe any thoughts that you have after listening to this insightful presentation and demonstration also from Stamatis?
Oh, really, it looks really useful, isn't it? Because you are integrated a number of things.
Yes.
You're doing the coding, the literacy, the math, and that's quite good. And the coding is about kind of thinking of the sequence as opposed to actually writing any code, isn't it? You just uses the blocks instead of the writing to bypass that, but they have to think of the sequence, so that's quite good.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks so much for this.
I see another hand. I see another hand from
Ellen.
Yes.
Thank you. I think it's a great tool for me because I don't have any skills in coding or programming. And part of my job is to deliver lessons, English grammar lessons to students. And I think I may try to use this tool in my class.
That's wonderful. Ellen, did you click on the link? Is this available in China? Because you are in China. Have you checked the link if you can access it? Yes, it works.
Yes.
Okay.
I can use it. Yeah,
that's amazing. Great. Thank you so much. Well, we have reached the end of this meetup. We would like to thank our special guest, Dr. Stamatis Papadakis, for his contribution, for sharing his insight, his research and practice around using Scratch. I'm sure there will be follow-up conversations and experimentations, I think, with the tool and with Stamatis, who is available to any of us if you would like to get in touch with him. So big thank you to Stamatis and everybody who was here today and who may be listening later on. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. And I really am happy to work with you with questions, the resources. I'm going to send you everything on an email, all the links to use and share and post on your blogspot.
Great. Thank you for your generosity. I'm stopping the recording now.
Okay.